Hello, welcome to our communication skills course. I'm so happy to have you here. This is a very interesting course because we're going to learn English expressions to improve your communication skills. Communication is very important. We communicate in different ways. When we speak, when we listen, with our words, with our body language, we even communicate with our silence. My goal for this course is to teach you some strategies to communicate effectively in English. So at different points in the video, you will find this image, and that is your moment to respond to my questions. Don't be afraid to speak. It's your time to practice. Déjame darte dos ayudas para aprovechar al máximo este curso. Uno, cuando sea el momento de hablar, no utilices el español. Intenta utilizar lo que ya sabes del inglés. Si una palabra no te sale, intenta definirla o parafrasearla o cambiar la frase o decir las cosas en otro orden. Así estarás entrenando tu cerebro para no recurrir al español. Si necesitas empezar la frase nuevamente, no te sientas mal, hazlo, por lo importante es que lo digas 100% en inglés. Número 2, cuando veas frases nuevas, frena el video y repite las frases. Escucha mi pronunciación y repite todas las veces que lo necesites. Today's lesson is about job interviews, and we are going to see 3 steps that will help you navigate job interviews in English. Step 1, prepare. Step 2, practice. And step 3, produce. The first thing that you need to do when you know you're having a job interview is to prepare. You know the quote, fail to prepare, prepare to fail. So, if you know you're having a job interview in English, get ready. What kind of information do you want to know and be able to communicate in English? Information about the company, information about the position you're applying for, special vocabulary related to your area of expertise. Some words you will need to know for sure, other words on the screen. You apply for a job, you are an applicant or a candidate. You will be asked questions by an interviewer, and this person is usually someone from the Human Resources Department. You are applying for a specific position which is vacant at the moment. The second step has to do with practicing, and here we're going to spend most of our time. I would like to give you 5 questions that you can practice to get ready for your job interview. Now, remember this. The idea is to practice, not memorize. You always need to use your common sense to know how to apply what you practice to the real situation. Question number 1 is, tell me about yourself. Don't use more than 1 minute in this question. You can structure your answer into 3 ideas. Present, what you do, your current role, your profession. Past, your experience. And future, your goals and dreams for the future. Add some passion, but remember, don't memorize. So here's an example of someone answering this question. This person says, I am a health coach and I help women gain knowledge and confidence as they make decisions and move on to a healthier lifestyle. So here she's focusing on the present. I have a master's degree in nutrition, and for the last 3 years, I have worked at a health clinic in London, coaching ladies who wanted to lose weight and feel stronger. Here we have the past. I'm passionate about how small habits can make our lives better, so I want to take the chance to get my message out into the world and help more and more women. So here she's talking about her goals and wishes for the future. So now it's your turn to practice. Let's imagine that you have a job interview. Which position would it be? Medical, teaching, technology? Imagine the company where you are applying for the job. And now let's practice and answer the question using the strategy we just mentioned. Remember to start with the present, go into the past, and talk about your goals in the future. So tell me about yourself. Question number 2 is this. Why do you want to work at this company? Here it is where you will bring out all information you have investigated about the company. What makes it unique? How is your profile a good match for it? And which opportunities for growth can you have there? Here's a sample answer. I would like to work at this company because its values are excellence, good quality, and respect for people. Besides, the company's growth in technology is well known, and I would really like to work in a modern and up-to-date environment as well, as I love innovation and keeping up with all the new updates and trends in technology. So this person is showing that he knows the company's values. He has been searching about the growth in technology that this company has, and he is matching his own profile to the company's characteristics. So this is what you need to practice as you prepare for your interview. So it's your turn to practice in the situation we imagined before. Why do you want to work at this company? Question number 3 is, what are your greatest strengths? Think of 3 strengths that you have. How would you express them in English? Remember to back up your strengths with a short personal story or detail about your personal life. Again, don't memorize this. Practice with different strengths, and at the time of the interview, use the ones that you think are more suitable. I'm going to give you 3 examples. This is the first one. I am a team person. I really enjoy working with colleagues, and I also like to take different roles in teams. One day I can be the leader, and the next I can be a follower. Can you see how he talks about the strength, being a team person, and then he expands with some personal experience or explanation? Another example is, I'm passionate about people. This is a strength. One of the things I like is listening to their stories and understanding their needs. One final example, I was raised in a foreign country, so I can speak 3 languages and I can interact easily with people from other cultures. So it's your turn. What are your greatest strengths? Well done. Let's turn to question number 4. Typical question after asking about strengths. What do you consider to be your weaknesses? Same thing here. Choose a situation that you think is suitable for the conversation and expand by explaining something personal. For example, what you do to overcome this weakness. For example, I sometimes find it difficult not to get caught up in the little details instead of taking into account the big goal. What I do to overcome this is I write down the main goal on a card and read it at least once a day. This way, I always keep it in mind and can get focused if too many details distract me. So taking this into account, now it's your time to practice. What do you consider to be your weaknesses? Think of 2 and mention them. Another typical question at job interviews is this. Tell me about a challenge or a conflict you faced at work and how you dealt with it. This is a question about your past. So you need to make sure that you use past tenses and time sequencers so that people understand what you're telling them. Don't be too long when you answer this question, but be clear about when things happened and how you solved the situation that was problematic. Because you need to use good verb tenses and good grammar as you speak, I would like to remind you that this course is accompanied by the course called Upgrade Your English. In that course, you have access to 15 videos which have lots of good foundations for grammar, linkers, phrasal verbs, and so on. So I really suggest you start watching those videos today, and you will have lots of information, lots of expressions, and lots of good grammar so that you can use it correctly as you answer questions in speaking every day at work or in cases like this, like job interviews. So let's practice. Make sure you use the right tenses and don't be too long. Tell me about the challenge and your solution. Step number 3 is produce. You have to produce everything you have practiced in your real interview. Now, let me help you with one more thing. Imagine that you are at the interview and that you don't understand what the interviewer is saying. What do? You ask for clarification. Something you can say is, I'm not sure I understand what you mean. Can you repeat the question again, please? Don't be afraid to ask for clarification. That is better than answer something completely out of place. Secondly, imagine that you're speaking and you want to correct yourself or you would like to start again. Don't hesitate to stop and restart. You can say something like this: I'm sorry, I would like to start this idea again. Or I think I'm not being clear. Let me start this idea again, please. Don't hesitate to stop if you need to restart. Finally, at the end of the interview, there might be a time in which you can ask questions to your interviewer. So, as you prepare, make sure you have 1 or 2 questions in mind for this time. Some questions you may ask are: what does the company expect from this position? What are the biggest challenges that someone in this position would face? What kind of projects would I be working on? Have your questions ready for this time of the interview. So now let's practice again. I'll give you a situation and we will role play a short interview. Let's imagine I'm hiring an English teacher to work for me and you are a good candidate. So tell me about yourself. Thank you. And why would you like to work with me? Aha. Tell me, what is your biggest strength? That's nice. I would like you to tell me about one of your weaknesses. Thanks for being honest. Tell me about a situation in which you had a challenge and how you overcame it. Thank you very much. What questions do you have about this position? Well done. Good job. Our lesson recap for today. We've seen the 3 steps for a job interview: plan, practice, and produce. Plan means that we need to investigate and research about the company and the position. Practice means that we have to practice the 5 common questions for a job interview, and we are not going to memorize, but just practice and then use those expressions that we have learned into the interview when it's adequate. Step 3 has to do with the job interview itself, the moment to produce your interview. And remember that if you need to ask for clarification, you can do it. You can restart a phrase and start again. And there will be a moment in which you might have to ask questions. Every lesson, I like to ask my students, what have you learned today? What are your highlights? What are you taking from this lesson as new learning points? Well done. Congratulations. See you next class.